Hi everyone, Tijn Tauber here from Amsterdam. Thanks for joining me. A few years ago, when I was in Los Angeles, I met a guy called Genpo Roshi, and he was the guy who ran the Zen Center in Los Angeles. He was quite a big shot actually in the Zen world. And he told me a very, very interesting story. He told me that for some reason, his Zen center was sort of falling apart a bit. You know, the staff didn't really get along. Students were sort of not coming to the meditation so much, and he didn't really know why. He himself was a very, very powerful yogi monk. He would meditate for hours a day, and he'd been at it for about 23 years when I met him, trying to become enlightened. And so he did something quite revolutionary, I think, for a monk. He asked two psychologists to help him. And these two psychologists were Hal and Sidra Stone. They were the people who invented the voice dialogue method. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but it's a very interesting method where you can ask your system, can I speak to the wounded child or to that critical voice inside or that father figure inside? And interestingly, when you ask that, then you can hear that voice speak, that wounded voice, and it gives quite a lot of insight into why you do things the way you do them. So he really got into that. And then one day he had an epiphany. He was sort of wondering, wow, if all these wounded voices are there at my disposal, how about enlightened voices? I mean, what would happen if I would ask myself or somebody else, can I speak to the enlightened master inside? And so he was playing around with this, and then one day he couldn't contain his curiosity. There was a fellow standing in front of him. This guy had been studying Zen for only 2 weeks, very fresh, very nervous to be standing in front of the great Genpo Roshi, this audition, and so shivering a little bit. And then Genpo said, I want to speak to the enlightened master. And he said, before my surprised eyes, this guy morphed, changed into an enlightened master. Just like that. And he said I could ask him all these questions about what is enlightenment, who is God, all these difficult questions, and the most beautiful answers came out of his mouth. But he said it wasn't just what he said, but the way he was. He was enlightened at that moment. And only because I asked him. Only because I gave him permission to speak from that place of enlightenment. So Genpo was watching this guy and he was thinking, I've been sitting on a pillow for 23 years trying to become enlightened. This guy is at it for 2 weeks and bang, just like that, stepping into full enlightenment only because I asked him, only because I gave him permission to speak and to live from that place. So I would like to ask you, I would like to give you permission right now to speak, to live from that place inside of you that is already enlightened. You just need to remember, because deep down you are already completely enlightened. So don't try to be enlightened, just remember that you are that beautiful, beautiful, powerful light. Thank you very much for joining me. And don't forget who you really are. You are enlightened and have always been enlightened. I'll see you next time.